Deep within the emerald expanse of the Amazon, a world exists that time has seemingly forgotten. It is a place where the modern world's clamor fades into a distant, irrelevant hum. Here, veiled by a living curtain of leaves and vines, live a people known as the Waorani. They are a whisper on the wind, a shadow moving through the dense undergrowth. For generations, their existence has been a secret guarded by the formidable jungle itself. Their stories are not written in books or carved into stone. They are woven into the very fabric of the forest, carried on the humid air, and echoed in the calls of unseen creatures. To understand them is to step into a realm where human life is inseparable from the wild. The Waorani remain one of the planet's most enigmatic communities. Their isolation has allowed them to preserve a way of life that is profoundly different from our own. They are a people who have lived in deep connection with their environment for countless generations, their survival and their culture intertwined with the rhythms of the rainforest. Knowledge of their existence has trickled out slowly, like sap from a wounded tree, leaving more questions than answers. Who are these people who thrive in a world so fiercely protective of its secrets? What ancient wisdom do they hold in the heart of this great green cathedral? The jungle does not give up its mysteries easily, and the Waorani are its most precious secret. Their world is not one of maps and borders, but of ancient trails known only to them. These paths wind through a labyrinth of towering trees and tangled roots, a landscape that would seem impenetrable to an outsider. For the Waorani, this is home. It is a place of abundance and danger, of profound beauty and unforgiving challenges. They navigate this world not with compasses, but with an inherited understanding of the sun's path, the stars' positions, and the subtle language of the forest itself. They are the human embodiment of the jungle's spirit, as much a part of this ecosystem as the jaguar or the soaring eagle. Their story is a journey into the heart of what it means to be truly connected to the earth. As we begin to pull back the veil, we must do so with the utmost respect. We are treading on sacred ground, exploring a culture that has flourished without the need for our validation or understanding. The Waorani are not relics of a bygone era. They are a living, breathing testament to a different way of being. Their customs, their beliefs, and their relationship with the natural world offer a perspective that is both startling and deeply humbling. The deeper we venture into their territory, the more we realize that it is not just the jungle that holds secrets, but the human spirit itself, which, in this remote corner of the world, has evolved in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend. Imagine a ceiling crafted from a million shades of green, stretching as far as the eye can see. This is the canopy of the Amazon, the great roof of the Waorani world. It is a living, breathing entity, a complex city of branches and leaves where sunlight struggles to reach the floor below. Sunlight dapples the forest ground in shifting patterns, creating a perpetual twilight that cloaks the world in mystery. Towering kapok trees, their trunks as wide as small huts, stand as silent sentinels, their crowns reaching for the sky. They have witnessed generations of Waorani life pass beneath their boughs, their bark scarred with the memories of a people who know them as kindred spirits, not just as timber. This vast, interconnected web of life is the stage upon which the daily drama of survival unfolds. Every branch is a potential perch for a watchful harpy eagle, its gaze sharp enough to spot the slightest movement below. Every vine is a highway for troops of capuchin monkeys, their chattering calls a familiar part of the forest's soundscape. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, and the sweet perfume of orchids blooming high in the canopy, their beauty hidden from all but the most observant eyes. This is not merely a collection of trees, it is a complex vertical world with distinct neighborhoods, from the sun-drenched emergent layer to the dark, humid understory. Life here is a constant negotiation with the environment. The forest floor is a soft carpet of fallen leaves, hiding a network of roots that trip the unwary. It is a place of both nourishment and peril. A brightly colored frog might carry a potent poison on its skin, a warning to all who would dare to disturb it. A fallen log, seemingly inert, could be home to a colony of biting ants or a reclusive snake. The Waorani move through this world with a grace and awareness born from a lifetime of observation. They read the forest like a book, its every rustle and shadow telling a story that an outsider could never hope to decipher. The sheer scale of this place is difficult to comprehend. It is a world built on a foundation of immense biodiversity, where every square meter teems with life. Giant buttress roots snake across the ground, providing stability to the colossal trees that form the pillars of this green temple. Lianas as thick as a man's arm hang from the canopy, connecting tree to tree in a tangled embrace. This is the world the Waorani call home. It is their provider, their protector, and their greatest teacher. Their lives are shaped by its immensity, its rhythms, and its profound ancient power. To be here is to feel small, to be humbled by the grandeur of nature in its most untamed form. Winding through the heart of the Waorani territory are the rivers, the lifeblood of the forest. They are not gentle streams, but powerful, sinuous arteries of brown water, their currents carrying sediment and secrets from the Andes Mountains far to the west. These rivers are the main thoroughfares of the jungle, carving paths through the dense vegetation and shaping the land over millennia. Their banks are a constantly shifting boundary between water and forest, a zone of intense activity where life from both realms converges. The slow, rhythmic pulse of the water dictates the pace of life, rising during the wet season to flood the forest floor and receding in the dry months to reveal sandy beaches. The air itself seems alive. It is thick and heavy with moisture, a tangible presence that you can feel on your skin. A deep breath fills the lungs with the earthy aroma of wet soil and the complex bouquet of a million different plants. This humidity fuels the forest's perpetual growth and creates a constant low hum of life. The wind is not a gale that sweeps across open plains, but a subtle whisper that rustles the highest leaves of the canopy. Down on the forest floor, the air is often still, broken only by the draft from a hummingbird's wings or the sudden rush of a startled animal. This atmosphere is both suffocating and life-giving, the very breath of the jungle. The sounds of the rainforest are a symphony that never ceases. The day begins with the guttural roar of howler monkeys, a sound that travels for miles and serves as a territorial declaration. As the sun climbs higher, the air fills with the chirps, clicks, and whistles of countless insects and the melodic calls of birds, like the brilliant scarlet macaw. At night, the orchestra changes its tune. The diurnal singers fall silent, replaced by the chirping of crickets, the croaking of tree frogs, and the occasional chilling cry of a nocturnal predator. The sound of rushing water is a constant undertone, a reminder of the river's immense and patient power. This sensory immersion is the essence of the Waorani experience. Their senses are finely tuned to this environment in ways we can barely imagine. They can distinguish the subtle snap of a twig that signals a nearby peccary from the random fall of a dry branch. They can identify the scent of a fruiting tree from a great distance, or the change in the air that precedes a sudden downpour. For them, the river is not just a body of water. It is a provider of fish, a path for their canoes, and a spiritual entity with its own moods and temperament. The forest is not just a collection of plants, it is a living being, and they are a part of its consciousness. In the world of the Waorani, the most important agreements and relationships are not recorded on paper. There are no marriage certificates, no legal documents to define a family. Their bonds are forged through actions, shared experiences, and a complex web of social understanding that is as intricate as the forest itself. A partnership is not declared in a single ceremony, but grows over time, recognized by the community through the simple acts of living together, sharing food, and raising children. It is a fluid and organic process, a stark contrast to the rigid structures that govern relationships in the outside world. This lack of formal documentation is not a sign of simplicity, but of a different kind of sophistication. Family structures here are also remarkably distinct. The concept of a nuclear family with a mother, father, and children living in a self-contained unit is foreign. Instead, life is communal. Extended families live together in large communal houses known as malokas. Here, child-rearing is a shared responsibility. An aunt or uncle is often as much a parent as the biological mother or father. This collective approach creates a powerful sense of community and support, ensuring that no individual is left to face the challenges of life alone. Children grow up surrounded by a network of caregivers, learning the ways of the tribe from a multitude of teachers. The Waorani view of relationships is deeply practical and rooted in the needs of their community. Partnerships are formed based on mutual affection, respect, and the ability to work together to provide for the family. There is a notable absence of the formal courtship rituals and societal pressures that define romance elsewhere. A relationship is a living thing, and like all living things in the forest, it can change and adapt over time. If a partnership no longer works, it can dissolve without the stigma or legal complexity that accompanies divorce in other cultures. The primary focus is always on the well-being of the group and the harmony of the community. This approach to human connection is a profound reflection of their environment. The jungle is a place of constant flux, where life and death, growth and decay are in a perpetual cycle. The Waorani's social structures mirror this natural dynamism. They have created a society that is resilient, adaptable, and deeply humane. It is a system built not on rigid rules, but on trust, interdependence, and a shared understanding of what it takes to survive and thrive in this demanding world. The bonds that hold their society together are invisible, yet they are as strong and resilient as the toughest vines that bind the forest canopy. Daily life for the Waorani is, well, a dance of survival. It's this rhythm of hunting and gathering that's been perfected over, honestly, countless generations. The men are the hunters, true masters of stealth and patience. They move through the forest almost like shadows, their senses just on high alert. Their primary weapon is the blowgun, which is this long, elegant tube crafted from chonta palm wood. With a single, powerful puff of breath, they can send a poison-tipped dart flying with, astonishing accuracy. The poison itself is a potent neurotoxin called curare, derived from specific plants, and its recipe is a closely guarded secret passed down from father to son. It's a method that requires immense skill, a really deep knowledge of animal behavior, and a profound respect for the prey. The hunt is, well, a silent and contemplative pursuit. The hunter has to become one with the forest, masking his scent and mimicking the sounds of the jungle to avoid detection. He might track a herd of white-lipped peccaries for hours, just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Or he might sit motionless for what feels like an eternity, his eyes scanning the canopy for the subtle movement of a monkey or a toucan. Every hunt is a gamble, a real test of skill and luck. But when it's successful, it provides the community with a vital source of protein, a reason for celebration and sharing. The kill isn't a conquest, but a gift from the forest, and it's treated with all the reverence it deserves. While the men hunt, the women and children are the gatherers. Their knowledge of the forest's botanical treasures is, honestly, encyclopedic. They know which palms provide edible hearts, which vines yield drinkable water, and which fruits are ripe for the picking. They move through their gathering grounds with a practiced eye, their baskets slowly filling with a diverse array of foods, medicines, and materials. They dig for starchy tubers like manioc, which forms the staple of their diet. The manioc is then brought back to the village, where it's peeled, grated, and processed in a laborious but essential ritual to remove its natural toxins before being cooked into a flatbread or brewed into a fermented beverage. This division of labor isn't a rigid hierarchy, but more of a harmonious collaboration. The skills of the hunter and the gatherer are equally valued, since both are essential to the community's survival. The children learn from a young age, accompanying their parents on their daily rounds. They learn to identify edible plants, to track animals, and to navigate the complex terrain of their jungle home. This is their school, and the forest is their textbook. Through this process of direct experience, they inherit the ancient wisdom of their ancestors, ensuring that the knowledge needed to live in this world is passed seamlessly from one generation to the next. The rainforest is never silent. It is, honestly, a place of constant sound, a living symphony composed by 1 billion different performers. To stand within it is to be enveloped by a chorus of life that is at once chaotic and somehow beautifully orchestrated. During the day, the air just vibrates with the incessant buzzing of insects, a high-pitched hum that forms the bass line of the jungle's soundtrack. Above this, the calls of birds create a complex and ever-changing melody. The sharp, metallic cry of the screaming piha, the comical squawk of a toucan, and the flute-like song of an unseen wren all contribute to the rich acoustic tapestry. It is a world that speaks in a language of clicks, whistles, and calls. As dusk settles, the daytime performers gradually fall silent, and, a new cast of characters takes the stage. The symphony shifts from the bright tones of birds to the deeper, more mysterious sounds of the night. The most dominant sound is the chorus of frogs, a cacophony of croaks, peeps, and bellows that rises from every stream and puddle. Their calls are a barometer of the forest's health, a sign that the ecosystem is thriving. The rhythmic chirping of crickets and katydids adds a percussive layer to the nocturnal music. These sounds are so pervasive, so constant, that after a while they merge into a single hypnotic drone, the very pulse of the jungle at night. The forest also communicates through movement. A sudden rustle in the undergrowth could be a foraging agouti, a small rodent that is always on the lookout for fallen fruit. It could also be the silent tread of an ocelot, a beautiful but deadly nocturnal cat on the hunt. High above, the canopy sways and shakes as a troop of spider monkeys travels through the treetops, their long limbs carrying them with breathtaking agility from branch to branch. Even the falling of a single leaf can seem like a significant event in the stillness of the forest floor. The Waorani are attuned to these subtle movements, able to interpret their meaning with an instinct born of lifelong immersion. This constant sensory input shapes the Waorani's perception of the world. They live in a state of heightened awareness, their senses constantly scanning the environment for information. They can feel the subtle shift in humidity that signals an approaching storm long before the sky darkens. They can smell the presence of a predator on the wind. For them, the forest is not a backdrop for their lives. It is an active participant, a living entity that is constantly communicating with them. To learn to live here is to learn to listen, to watch, and to feel the myriad messages that the jungle is always sending. It is a dialogue between humanity and nature at its most intimate. The Waorani do not have written laws or a formal government. Their society is governed by a set of unwritten rules, a code of conduct that is deeply embedded in their culture and their relationship with the natural world. These laws are not enforced by police or courts, but by social pressure, tradition, and a shared understanding of what is required to maintain balance and harmony. The most fundamental of these laws is the principle of reciprocity. If a hunter is successful, the meat is shared among the entire community. If a family clears a new garden, their neighbors will help. This system of mutual obligation ensures that everyone's needs are met and strengthens the bonds that hold the community together. Their cosmology is intricately linked to the forest. They do not see a separation between the physical and spiritual worlds. To them, the forest is alive with spirits. Animals, plants, rivers, and even stones are imbued with a life force. The jaguar is not just a predator. It is a powerful shaman, capable of crossing between the world of the living and the world of the spirits. Certain trees are considered sacred, the homes of ancient ancestors. This belief system fosters a profound sense of respect for the environment. To harm the forest unnecessarily is not just an act of ecological destruction, it is a spiritual transgression that can anger the spirits and bring misfortune to the community. Conflict resolution among the Waorani is also guided by these unseen laws. Disputes are typically handled within the community, often through long discussions where everyone involved has a chance to speak. The goal is not to punish the wrongdoer, but to restore harmony and repair damaged relationships. Elders play a crucial role as mediators, their wisdom and experience guiding the community towards a consensus. In a society where everyone depends on everyone else for survival, maintaining social cohesion is paramount. Ostracism from the group is the most severe punishment imaginable, a fate that is almost equivalent to a death sentence in this challenging environment. These traditions are the bedrock of Waorani society. They are the invisible threads that weave the community together, providing structure, meaning, and a sense of identity. This ancient code of conduct has allowed them to live sustainably in the Amazon for centuries, navigating the complex social and ecological challenges of their world. It is a system built on respect for each other, respect for their elders, and above all, respect for the forest that sustains them. Their laws are not written on stone tablets, but in the hearts and minds of the people, and in the rustling leaves and flowing waters of their jungle home. The Waorani see themselves not as owners of the land, but as its guardians. This is a fundamental distinction that shapes their entire worldview. Their territory is not a resource to be exploited, but a sacred inheritance to be protected and passed on to future generations. They have an intimate and personal relationship with their environment, a connection that has been forged over centuries of living in harmony with the rhythms of the jungle. They know the life cycle of every important plant, the migration patterns of every animal, and the sacred significance of every landmark. This deep ancestral knowledge is the key to their survival and the foundation of their culture. Their traditional practices are inherently sustainable. They practice a form of shifting agriculture, clearing small patches of forest to plant their gardens, and then allowing the land to regenerate after a few years. This method mimics the natural process of treefall gaps in the forest and has a minimal long-term impact on the ecosystem. Their hunting techniques are also designed to prevent overharvesting. They target a wide variety of species and often move their hunting grounds to allow animal populations to recover. This is not conservation in the modern sense. It is a practical and spiritual necessity, an understanding that their own survival is inextricably linked to the health of the forest. The elders are the living libraries of the tribe, the keepers of this ancient wisdom. They hold the stories, the songs, and the genealogies that connect the present generation to their ancestors and to the land itself. Their knowledge is a precious resource, a guide to living a good life in the Waorani way. They teach the young people how to read the signs of the forest, how to find medicine in the plants, and how to understand the complex social rules that govern their community. The respect afforded to the elders is a reflection of the value the Waorani place on tradition and the accumulated wisdom of the past. Today, this ancient world is facing unprecedented threats. The outside world, with its insatiable appetite for resources, is encroaching on their territory. The guardians of the forest now find themselves on the front lines of a battle to protect their home and their way of life. Their struggle is not just for their own survival, but for the survival of one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. The Waorani's deep connection to the land and their time-honored traditions are their greatest strengths in this fight. They are a powerful reminder that there are other ways of living, other ways of relating to the natural world that are both sustainable and deeply meaningful. As we draw back from this glimpse into the Waorani world, we are left with more questions than answers. The secrets of the Amazon are not easily revealed, and the true depth of Waorani culture remains a profound mystery. How has their unique social structure, with its fluid relationships and communal living, contributed to their resilience over so many centuries? What undiscovered knowledge do they hold about the medicinal properties of the plants that grow in their forest pharmacy? Theirs is a world rich with a wisdom that is experiential, not written, passed down through action and oral tradition, making it both powerful and fragile. The future of the Waorani is an unanswered question that hangs heavy in the humid air. As the modern world continues to press in on their borders, can they maintain their unique way of life? Can their traditions of community and respect for nature survive the encounter with a culture driven by individualism and consumption? The challenges they face are immense. The lure of modern goods, the threat of disease, and the destruction of their forest home all pose an existential threat to their existence. Their story is a poignant chapter in the larger narrative of indigenous peoples around the world, a struggle to preserve their identity in the face of overwhelming change. What can we, from the outside world, learn from the Waorani? Perhaps their greatest lesson is one of perspective. They show us that a rich and meaningful life does not depend on material wealth or technological advancement. They demonstrate that it is possible for humans to live in a way that sustains rather than destroys the natural world that supports them. Their emphasis on community over the individual, on cooperation over competition, offers a powerful alternative to the values that dominate much of modern society. They remind us of a connection to the earth that many of us have lost, a sense of belonging to a place that is both our home and our sacred responsibility. In the end, the Waorani remain shrouded in the beautiful and formidable mystery of their jungle home. They are a living testament to the diversity of human culture and the deep ancient bond between people and the planet. As the shadows lengthen over the Amazon and the sounds of the night begin to rise, we are left to ponder their fate. The whispers from the green heart of the world carry a message of resilience, of wisdom, and of warning. The unanswered questions of the jungle are not just about the Waorani. They are about all of us and about the future of our shared home. The forest keeps its deepest secrets, and for now, that is perhaps as it should be.